Two weights. Wow. Whoa. You guys are on, aren't you?
And this is Ruben.
How are you, mate?
Guys, how are you?
Yeah, good, thanks.
It's from coming.
G'day, Ruben.
How are you?
What's this, a hang glider? A motorised?
Motorised. Beautiful
Wow.
hang glider.
Where do you take that? That's a really good idea.
Don't worry about the boots. God,
Sure.
mine, yeah.
Jesus, tasty.
I've had a go.
No, don't worry, mate.
No?
I'll get mine.
Who's Zoom?
I'll get the other cameras. I don't want to be on YouTube, okay?
This one, this way, that way.
I don't want to be on YouTube.
The selection of chairs is rugged.
Hey guys, what's the footage for? The record?
The record, mate.
Yeah, I think the record is
on the record.
good. Stick me on
That way
the
they
YouTube.
improve the
Yeah,
life.
don't stick us on YouTube again.
Where's the...
Oh, Jesus, okay.
Anyway, nice to meet you. I've seen your website and all that.
Yeah,
so it's quite
Have a
interesting.
seat, have a seat.
Thanks, mate.
Oh, sorry.
Well,
That
How long you been
music's
out here,
recording. It's good.
how long you been out here?
I've been out here for coming up to 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty good.
Where'd you come from?
Yeah, might get to take another time. That doesn't like you, no. I was down at casino before this. We're out of there, out of a place called Hutton. And prior to that, Maynard. Prior to that,
Where's that?
Maynard's behind Nolan Bimby.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Up in,
I'm going up that way for Christmas, actually.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Which place?
Oh, I got a friend that lives in the Shannon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So you can do a house swap. My kid's an old friend of mine. She lives in an old Queenslander up there. Beautiful old house.
Oh,
Looking forward to it.
it's a sweet place, the Shannon, man.
Mm.
Well, all those valleys are. But
Yeah, very sweet.
yeah, there's a lot of weird, wonderful stuff happens up in them valleys too.
Yeah.
Byron Shire, where the
Show us your t-shirt, man.
where the
Oh, that's the website.
it is.
Who does the website?
Me.
Yeah? Yeah, it's
Well,
pretty good.
it's my first one, so I got a guy. I've got 3 hang gliding history sites that I got another guy who was doing. So I didn't want to ask him to do this one because it's a bit off target for him. So he does all the flying stuff. But yeah, if you ever want another story, I got a story about the guy that invented the hang glider and it's never been given proper recognition.
He didn't copyright his idea.
No, he
What's his name?
John Dickinson.
Is that at Coleroy where he started doing it? Is that right in Sydney?
No, that's Bill Moyes who claims
Right, he's
the
the
thing.
okay. He's the false.
One of the
king.
culprits. Yeah.
Oh, right.
And there was a guy in NASA, but I just came across John's thing early 2006. Ended up talking to him, running through. So that was my last campaign. We've got the FAI recognising him and all sorts of other stuff. So, sort of kept me in shape for this, and so I got a whole box of video on.
You got a whole box of it.
Of stuff on hang gliding, yes.
Yep.
Interviews with the first pilot, the guy that towed the boat, first manufacturer. You guys based in Sydney?
Yeah.
And then there's a guy down there that needs to be interviewed, John Lavelle. He made the first harnesses. If I could get down there, I'd do it. He's not in the best of shape. But him and his wife were acrobats, like aerial trapeze artists and that sort of stuff.
How did Bill Moyes get onto it?
He copied the third Mark III that John sold, and then John Revell actually copied one of them, and Bill bought John Revell's one. I don't know, we still don't know if Bill built one from the first one he measured up, but it was the guy, what was his name? I can't remember it offhand.
It's an interesting tale.
Oh look, it's amazing stuff. That plastic was specially made, that's what the first sails were made out of.
Yeah.
So a company in Brisbane made that for me to 1963 banana bag specs.
Wow.
Yeah, that put my name in and hang gliding and into Google and you'll find that stuff. But John's in Manly, John Revell's down in San Susie, and the rest of it all happened in Grafton. But yeah, there's
Another one.
I was supposed to be doing that in the documentary on that, and all this stuff happened. Eventually I just went, hell, I've got everything, put that away, I'll start filming everything that happens around here.
Now, the story of the moment.
Yes.
Have you got you got enormous amounts of archive, obviously. How long have you been filming for?
Probably only 2 years.
Only 2 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you put all the best stuff on the website?
No.
What's your intention?
At the moment, we're getting closer to really understanding how this came about, right? And that's delving back into the history of it, keeping on who the first players were, and what was happening, and getting an understanding of that, and getting an understanding of what they're intending to do. Most of what everyone's on about is the stuff that we were talking about 6 months ago, and
So what are you sort of concentrating on now? What areas?
The disposal of the water, I guess. The disposal of the water, the one thing I was making progress on and just got scuttled, and I don't know why, was Indigenous sites. And there's some, I've got some good footage of them, and just when we had the Aboriginal heritage people ready to go up the other morning, the phone went, bang, all got closed down. And that's because Darren found out about it, and then the company found out, and bang, the doors get shut.
There are a lot of heritage items out there.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing. It's like it's up on the ridge, and it's like a stone trench, but it's now filled up, and there's this big stone snake, a whole lot of stones piled up. It's you look at it, and you get up there, and you see.
Where's that,
what's
mate?
there.
How far away?
Oh, about 30 k's to the west over Golden Globe Estate. And we got to that because they've put 5 wells in around there, and one of them's just a disaster. So we took Durham up there. That's all filmed, but we took Brett Smith, the Vice President of Corporate Services, and Tony Hydrick and a few others.
And what did they say?
They kept saying, oh, I thought we were going to that site back there. In the end they said, oh, we don't want to do any more of these tours. They think they're going to this gate, and we go, no, let's go down to this one here. Oh, don't want to go in there. You go, you know you don't want to go in there, so therefore you know what's there. Now we got footage of them standing there pretending that one of the wells isn't theirs. Oh, I don't think that's ours. Don't know if it's ours. Do we know if it's ours?
That's ridiculous.
It is when you got 3 cameras pointing at you.
Yeah.
To be standing there looking at it.
Yeah, sure.
And they go, oh, well, we can't actually go over, that's on the next block, we can't go and look at it. I said, oh, it's okay, I went over and filmed it yesterday, and you just see them go, oh.
And listen, Graeme, you said you might be able to put together a DVD for it. Did you get a chance to do that?
I have. I'll just grab the pile of stuff.
So whose wedding you putting
Kelly's.
together? Who?
Kelly's.
Kelly, cameraman. We're keeping you from your wedding.
It's alright.
Where are you having it?
At my place.
That's good. A big one or just?
I don't know, probably 70 or 80 people coming, camping over and
Sounds good.
a jumping castle and karaoke.
Whoa, that sounds great.
Yeah, that's what the marquee up this afternoon, so that's why we're a
Yeah, a bit rushed.
bit rushed.
Oh mate, we'll just get this. We'll get out of your hair soon. You won't stay around. The other, Graeme, just the water, the trucks dumping water.
Yeah.
Did you kind of isolate some footage there, or?
I've got the footage on here. I haven't gone through and got into this stuff. Yeah, as you can see, it's
Sure.
my indexing system's a bit abstract. What I've got. Now, the stuff you were after, this is the, I'm assuming from what you said is fairly early stuff.
Well, just the stuff that I saw on the web, which was, you know, the sort of, you were sort of chasing trucks that were putting water on the, putting
I was
treated
doing
water.
an awful lot of that. The
Do you
camera
remember, Peter? I mean, it was
Yeah,
just
the stuff on the website that I've seen is
WAAM.
trucks coming down, disappear into the Kenya site, I think, and then they sort of nudge out, just see the nose of them sticking out. Obviously, looking at you guys at the creek crossing.
Oh, that's when we were down.
9 mile.
9 mile, yeah. And then eventually that truck comes through and then starts spraying a very non-dusty road.
Yeah, right in front of the reporter who had just been standing there sort of saying to us, well, how do you know it's them and not just the rain? Yeah, I think it might have been there.
What do you think they're doing?
Well, that's quite recent. When that was what, about 3 months ago?
Yeah,
We took, because what was happening there was there's a flow in the creek down Van Reenen's Road past the camps. And you come up to the earlier ones and there's no flow. Right? And you can go around Robertson's Road, there's nothing flowing down in
Drove
there.
past it, I noticed that. That kind of stops. The water goes, it sort of seems to be a murky grey colour, then it goes to a brown, yeah?
So
Sort
what?
of muddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what I want to know is where's that water coming from, because it's not natural flow, and it's still happening. You know, we dragged Durham out, came out on the Saturday. When we got over there, they said they'd done the testing, and we were standing there waiting to see what was going to happen when that truck went past. It was just an incident. Now that truck is probably spraying just artesian bore water, right, on dust suppression. I'm saying probably because that's what they'll be claiming, and unless I can get onto another block, and I don't, the problem is there's pipes going everywhere, there's water, you know, I've chased trucks spraying water back this way, spraying that way, and for a while last year they were just going round and round and round these blocks, and the only traffic was the water truck.
Yeah, for what?
And we've also been on Bitumen Road, this kilometres trail of dumping on Bitumen Road.
Is there, Graeme, is there any stuff that you have, I guess, where you've got direct evidence where they may be sort of pouring out sump water or any toxicity?
There's absolutely nothing that I can say this is absolutely sure, but there's just that many trucks. One of the things I've been trying to get done, and was supposed to be done in the conditions when we released their seismic gear, is telemetry on these trucks and gear. And I know it can be done because John Dickinson, the hang glider dude, he made it for all the septic tank trucks in New South Wales, and made these things for them that measure how much goes in, how much comes out, and where it happens. Because what was happening down there, they were charging everyone 500 litres for emptying their septics, but then someone figured out, hey, these septics are 400 litres. So the drivers charges you 500, you 500, you 500, me, and then pockets from there. So all that technology's old. All their four-wheel drives have telemetry. They know where they've been all the time. They can tell all of that, but the water trucks know. And so when you get, you see one spraying all the way over and carting it all the way over from up here to Kenya, and then you'll see them spraying all the way back. And we followed them from one well down here, the other side of the creek, right around, 100k or more round trip to another site where he's got to pick up. So they're going between sites where they can only pick up. He wasn't dumping, he knew we were following.
Well, if we can do that footy, we'll put a formal question in and ask them about it.
What have they told you? What is it? I'm sure you've done that. So what do they say to you when you put questions to whatever companies?
They're going to ask and find out, and
do they ever get
they
back to you?
don't know. Well, we had this thing where Brett Smith was going to be answering all these questions, and then at the second meeting, when he came down, he laid this big talk on about how we'd been talking to Durham, and therefore he wasn't going to answer all the questions because we've been talking to Durham and to him, and they're not comfortable with that, and they don't want to play that game. And that's when we were just very nice and let them go. And I put the thing up there saying, well, that's it. No more nice guy stuff. You only get one chance at life. And all the discussion on it and the wiffly waffly stuff, that's all on record.
I think I saw that. Was that? But that was when you were confronting. That was
when you were
confronting him with blockade, or not?
No, that was just he phoned up from Perth. That was when I agreed to let them go. But that was just the last part of it. The hour before that was sort of more interesting when the inspector and I were talking. And they're going, well, what happened? He goes, what will happen if they just hop in the vehicles and drive them away? I'm just going to walk in front with my hands in my pocket. They'll either run me over or stop, or you arrest me, you'll film it, and you lose. Ooh, we don't want that. That was the only threat in that. We held them there for 5 days. And that was the only time I ever actually said I would do anything about it. So they didn't have permission to be doing that.
So what do you reckon? Should we take, just wondering, should we take just the DVDs, or we should try and transfer just some of the best road stuff on the tape?
Well, the thing is, it's when you say trucks chasing stuff, and that, I'm kind of going, I need more specific on that.
Well, what about that one I just described? It's on your website.
That
was only 3 months ago. Is that Can we get a bit of that then? Because that, and also the other one, the one where in the Tara, in the estates up here, where there's some investigation going on about the Durham are apparently doing an investigation into the sumps that weren't disposed of properly. It wasn't lined. There was crap everywhere, and there's some allegations flying around that trucks were taking out the water.
I've heard this stuff, and I've heard of mythological video of this I've been hearing about it for a long time and no one ever produces it.
Yeah, alright.
There's a lot of people with video cameras around. Good stuff. Yeah,
There is.
Yeah, well, you know, you have that Dayne Pratsky, he announced towards, or the last day he was at the blockade, you know, he goes, oh, I've only got one tape, I've just been overdubbing it. He's walking around with the flashes camera of the lot posing like nothing, and you go, oh, I've just been overdubbing, and you go, oh. And that's the only other stuff I've heard of, but no one's ever been able to tell me who's got it.
Alright, well why don't we just get
well,
what you're saying and something of what, look Graeme, what you think of,
yeah, what's the...
you know, what you think's more significant, I guess, in terms of them dumping water. We're obviously interested in dumping water, but
well, now of course the things changed, and what we're seeing is creeks flowing when they shouldn't be. And you have the Origin EA at Tullingan, and you crunch the numbers on that, and Derm's authorised them to put a ton of BTX a month into the river. There's 219 of kilograms of uranium in that authorisation. There's mercury, lead, you name it.
219 kilograms.
Of uranium over 18 months.
you serious?
400 grams.
I'm the most serious person
Where's
to come up.
that document? Where's that from?
That's in the EA.
So how many kilograms did you say?
219 it works out. They've got a chart, allowable release limits of contaminants,
Yeah.
and the uranium one is 20 micrograms per litre.
Right.
You do the sums of 20 meg a day for 147.5 days.
Right.
Works out at
This is
290 kilograms of
unbelievable. I can
uranium.
walk over there and find it, by the way.
Yeah, that's all right.
This,
They published that obviously, they had to.
yep, this is in the EA.
Just
Which-
hoping
Yeah,
nothing would
this.
notice it.
Which
started
EA,
with,
maybe?
you know,
It's the Origin one?
this is the Origin
It's
one.
still got on their website, have they?
It's
or-
on mine.
Okay.
If you look under the EAs, it's the
That's
second
not
one.
saying that that's necessarily in the water, that's saying the
No,
government...
but that's what they're
That's
allowing.
allowing
That's
it.
acceptable. Yeah, yeah.
Now what was-
870 odd kilos of
Yeah,
cyanide.
yeah.
we've crunched this to work
Yeah,
out
okay.
what the totals
So,
are,
yeah.
and you come down. There it is for the uranium.
Wow.
No, what? No, it's must be this one.
Oh yeah.
No, they're the same. Okay, I didn't find everything.
And QTC is applying for 100 meg a day at the moment. Same thing. And that's treated RO water.
Yep.
What they're claiming is practically fresh. Has a lot of similar characteristics, but
You'll see the lists, and it's pretty easy to crunch the numbers.
Okay.
If
Have you got, that's on your website, is it?
Yeah, without these ones added up. So just take a page.
Can we
of
take that? No, no.
Take that page and you'll.
You know, you got a copy?
You got a copy of that?
Oh, I can re-crunch the numbers, or it'll be scanned somewhere.
You sure?
Yep, it's not a problem. It's history now. I've got the next project.
Graeme, where's it from?
This is from the. I'll give you the names. I'll put it on the CD for you for that.
You guys fly up today?
No, we've been around for 2 or 3 days, you know, a few days doing some things. Just some farmer stories and, you know.
So who's andymining.com? I've seen the website.
It's good, these guys.
It's just you.
Yeah, I'm ringing on from out of town. I'll just
you're
come for the ride.
my father is down for my wedding.
Oh, good stuff. Okay.
But yeah, we've just got a small group, and
Yeah, it looks good. A lot of stuff on it.
yeah, well,
I haven't gone through it entirely. It's good. You know, the more information you can get out for people to look at, the better.
yeah. There's a real importance about not exaggerating and
Absolutely right.
being
Not to exaggerate.
Well, that's right. The minute you do, you're dead. In a sense, people don't take you seriously, do they?
And it's going to be a long game.
Mm.
And exaggerate or make false claims or try and link things together that aren't true. At some stage you'll be shot down for that. So
That's
we're
right.
avoiding that.
That's it. So what's the name of the environment application? It's the, which one did you say?
Yeah, hold on. I'll just...
Oh, sorry.
We'll do
Sorry,
another
I'll
one.
let you.
It's
I'll
the
give you a
one for
minute.
the Origin Talinga RO treatment plant.
I'll give you the details. There's that many and the numbers all end up.
Yeah.
You got it. Boom, boom, boom. No, I managed to get Durham to give it to us now. This must be PEN 100067807,
Okay.
and it's just Walloons, WALLONS. It's the second one on the website. If you go
When did
on
that
the
come out,
website.
mate? What year was it? What month?
This year.
Okay.
2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to find it on the hard drive. It's not fast.
So where did you get it, Graeme? From their? Do they put it on their websites or not?
No, from Durham. And they try to charge you for these things, but Carmen and Henderson have been prepared to hand me them, so I just plonk them up there and let people see them.
Good.
But this part of this also came from Ian Heiner at Durham and Toowoomba. So he was the one that drew our attention to it. You end up, you get so much stuff.
Mm.
Louise Jordan was the one who signed that document.
Right. Yep. So if it's an environmental authority, it should be public.
Yeah. It has to be published in some
Yeah,
shape or form.
yeah.
But whether they just put it in the put on their website for a defined period or
Yeah, you can get it.
mm.
Like the councillors, the thing that surprised me about it was that the council in the paper had said, we're wasting this water by putting it in the river, why can't it be piped into town? And they saw that. I don't think it made sense to them, but when you can show someone micrograms per,
Yeah.
and what that is, that's the upper safe drinking level, drinking water standard. But I don't care, I don't see how you can justify dumping 220 kilograms of uranium into a river.
I'll just burn the 4 of them off and give them to you on a CD.
Thanks, Graeme.
Kelly says you can do it that way. You go, well, I've got 6 tons of uranium I want to dump in the river. How much water do I have to mix it with? And they're allowed as much water as they want.
Yeah.
So they're running, there's tanks up the end of, if you go down here and go up to the top of the road, and there's a bore in there. But we suspected for a start that they actually had CSG water in those tanks from the wells they had there. And that was one site we took the QGC people to, filmed that. The next day I got a call from Tony Hydrick claiming someone had snuck in there and opened the bungs on all their tanks and let it all run into the river. Right? And they didn't suspect that. There was no need for us to do it. We already had them standing there looking horribly embarrassed, filmed in front of it. But yeah, they didn't know what the tanks were about. They didn't know. They don't know.
What do you mean they don't know?
It is staying. They looking you in the eyes and they don't know. They got to go away and find out. Can you tell me where these trucks are, where they were going, what they were doing?
Like when we're at the well where they're going, oh, I don't think this is ours, this isn't ours, is it? And then we were standing there for a few minutes, and the person who lives there spotted us and came up and said, "Yeah, that's QGC well numbered, blah blah blah." And they go, "Oh, so it is ours."
Where does it say uranium? I can't see. What's uranium
Oh,
called?
no,
Some
it's
special
on,
name,
no,
is it?
no, it's on the next page and I can't find it.
Oh, okay. I got the arsenic and all sorts of things, but
No, you'll find that's
Yeah, it's down near the bottom because it's used. It's all in alphabetical.
yeah.
uranium's at the end of the game. So
There's the chromium-6. You've seen Aaron Brockovich?
Yeah.
That hexavalent chromium's in there.
Yeah.
And it's all at the upper drinking water standard. So there's a 50 micrograms per litre of that, so allowable.
Yep.
I'm not saying you got it, but if you do, you can dump it.
it is. See, we're just gathering, filming, recording, investigating. So I'll just put EAs on that. So that's there's 3 EAs on there, and the new amendment that covers
Oh, okay.
this new plant that QGC's building down here.
Yep. All right.
Right.
Wonderful.
Now,
I might take a note in that. That's pages, I think, 11, 12 and 13 of that EA.
Yeah, it's got it down the
Got
bottom.
it down there, yeah.
12. Yeah.
Do you know, I'm just thinking, why don't we, if we should then just take the DVDs, Graham, and then when we come up next time, because it might be easier to know exactly what we want.
yeah,
Because if you've got, I'm obviously got miles of the stuff.
yeah,
Making some
and we've
devices.
got lots of things. And we also have some pretty amazing audio of people in Durham in the company saying things, people in the government saying things that they didn't really realise anybody was
Recording.
keeping track.
What were they saying? Do you know what kind of things?
What was that? Who was
Got to
that?
find the body.
What?
Yeah, with that's with the carbon energy UCG plant down here. They had a blowout, blew a whole lot of stuff into the creek, and then they didn't report it for 9 months.
They didn't report it for 9 months.
No, and then this guy at Durham's explaining to Kelly why.
Because I'm saying,
They
if I
have
murdered someone and then 9 months later I admitted to it, I'd still get arrested. Then he goes, well, you've got to find the body. As in, they covered up and there's no evidence there.
But
That's weird.
well, one guy just straight out lying to us, telling us that from Durham we're going to be fracking up at Cody 20. We're starting the 25th, which I believe Michael Bretherick was talking about at the meeting you guys were at in Warwick.
Yeah, I think he was saying, yeah, he was, and at that stage they were, what do you think, he was expecting it was imminent and, you know, it was all going to happen and we should get up there.
He
And,
didn't have a clue what was going on. There was just the Courier Mail, Andrew McDonald, guy doing the dirty on me and telling him things he wasn't supposed to be saying. So that's the only way Michael knew anything about it. But by
so
that
he
time,
was the Courier Mail guy was telling, so you were revealing things to him when he was telling to Mike, was that what you were saying? Yeah.
But anyway,
which is the last time the Courier Mail's going to get to
That's
talk to us.
ridiculous.
Right? And then you see Michael out there in public saying this is happening, and by the time he was saying that, we'd already twigged to the fact, hey, this is a setup. You know, this guy's just trying to wind us up.
and I spoke to
But
the
his
guy.
terms were we are going to be going out there fracking, as in Durham. And 2 weeks later he says, oh, I don't recall saying that. I wouldn't know that. And you play those 2 tracks together. So, and yeah, the whole thing about, you hear Robertson come out, we've got the toughest laws, rah rah rah. You know, at the CSG forums, time and time again, we've got footage of government people saying they don't want to prosecute, they don't want to force it. And the Find the Body guy saying, oh, was it, we don't want to be prescriptive.
We're not in the habit of being prescriptive to industry. And the story, I don't know if you guys know much about the Kingaroy story.
Little bit, yeah. Just we just read just the clips, but that looks like pretty laid down misère how they stuffed up everything there, because they held back for a good 3 or 4 months, didn't they?
Yeah, but the story goes deeper than that.
Yeah.
It's the stuff that hasn't been reported in the press. Because you know how Cougar's saying we don't understand why we're still being shut down?
Yeah.
It's not fair. But there's a thing.
What is it? Can you tell us? Or?
Well, you need a USB stick.
I've got one.
You've got one? Because I just got sent a couple of things on that the other day. I don't know how they came out into the public. But what happened there, it wasn't the BTEX. It's the fact that in the pipe coming out of the ground, bringing the gas out, there's actually 2 pipes. And water got in between them, and when the water was heated, it crushed the centre one, which caused the whole thing to explode. Right? And that's the problem.
Right.
But I mean, that's nothing to what happened at Cougar. And do you remember the stuff in Kogan Creek, and people were saying about the pollution in there? Well, that was after the thing at Cougar, which is upstream. But nobody talking about that knows what happened at Cougar.
Carbon, yeah, but Kingaroy, so what were you saying at Kingaroy? What was the...
Yeah,
well,
Kingaroy,
the pipe has ruptured underneath the ground. And that's where all the poisonous gas comes up. And that's why they're still under an environmental protection order. But it's never been reported in the paper.
So they're what brings back up what? The waste gases?
They put down 2 wells.
Yeah.
Then they frack between them.
Yep.
And then they set fire down this one and pump the air in, and they take the gas out here.
Yeah.
Now from what, and I've only briefly looked through this, we knew what had happened beforehand because of what we've been told on the phone, but reading this report, it's because there was the 2 pipes, the water got in between them.
But this is carbon or Cougar?
This is Cougar.
Right.
Now carbon, they had some sort of blowback.
A surge of groundwater, and they had these things called knockout pots, and what was the term you used? Like they weren't adequate. So a massive amount of contaminated water came up, and they couldn't control it, and went into Bloodwood Creek and the surrounding area. And they didn't report this for 9 months. And now Dayne's trying to get evidence apparently, and that's where you've got to find the body. And I said to him at the end, I said, well, isn't this a breach of their authority not to report it immediately anyway?
I'd be interested in the Cougar stuff if you have, if we could get a copy of that.
No, well those reports just arrived about 3 days ago, but yeah, that stuff stamped.
Is it public stuff or internal?
Not according to what's on the cover, but it was handed out at a meeting in Kangaroo. So.
Recently?
About 3 weeks ago. I couldn't believe it when it turned up.
Can I have a look, please?
Yeah.
Do you want a USB, mate? Should I put on my USB?
Yeah.
I'll get it to my car.
Easy.
Have you got is it open, the carpet?
Yeah, I don't think I locked it, but I've got just in case so you have to make 2 trips.
I'm getting camera cramp here.
Oh God! Like we're sitting on a lot of stuff till someone actually wants to tell the story.
We're trying to.
And there's a lot of superficial stuff out there, and there's a lot of hype, and there's a lot of rubbish, and you just go, man, it's all. My philosophy is, if the truth gets out and people can hear what's actually going on, we will start to get real answers. At the moment, there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of alarm, but I don't have any faith in that because the company's already working out their answers. So it's like when they went and done the 60 minutes on the leaking gas wells. That started with me. It was my idea to test the wells before I left Western Downs Alliance to get a tester. Sit down! Lord Almighty! I wish you'd just eat people quietly. They went out, they panicked it, they done a bit, and then they made it all public. And before they'd done any serious, wow.
So was the Cougar one an internal report or is it like just A Durham one or what?
Something to do with
Is it on your website? No.
no, it's just wild.
I think I must have gotten used to it over this last year.
Yeah, it stings.
Yeah.
You're not comfortable at all.
Yeah. You did well. You're going for
This is way out of my sort of
40 minutes.
legal.
I've only
Yeah, we don't expect bias either way. We just want the truth out there.
That's not a bad idea. Truth is a
nourishes
good place
my
to start.
confidence.
Can I ask you where you got that, mate? Like you said you got it at a meeting, did you?
No, this was passed to me by a friend.
Sure.
But it wasn't obtained. It was he got because I asked him and he said no, it was handed to him at a meeting in Kingaroy.
Bizarre they did that. It's commercial in confidence. But what was the meeting? Was it a public meeting or was it?
As far as I'm aware, it was.
So where does it sort of highlight what you were talking about?
Is it? Okay, so it must be in this one. It's got all the pictures.
Shit. So the pig's dropped, isn't it? Crikey.
So I've only skimmed through these,
That's fantastic.
Yeah, bloody hell.
but yeah, my first reaction was a straight email. Where the hell did you get this?
Are you going to put that on your site eventually?
Perhaps. I
Just
haven't.
check it out first.
Yeah, I want to have a look through it, and I just now I've been that flat sweat.
Yeah, sure.
So
Yeah, that'd be great to have that because we're interested in finding out more about that one. It sort of got reported, then it died away. Hardly got reported at all.
is this your
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah, it is. Those are some of my photos in Cambodia of me and my kids.
That's alright. I'm just trying to work. I've got that many hard drives on this.
So what I'll do is,
I'll just put a new folder on here. And look, there's a book. What's happened? I'll put these 3 chapters of the history of chinchilla on here.
Is this a book you're writing or?
No, this was published a 3 years ago, but it really shows who's behind this. And it's local councillors and people. But if you want to understand it, that's just a map you might find rather interesting. Once you know more, it shows the various aquifers.
It's a lot to get through, isn't it? It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
What else should we?
Oh, it's a long story, and just
Yeah.
to tell the story.
You need a sit down for a day at least.
Well, yeah, at least.
Yeah.
But it's a really interesting story. It's got it all. You know, corruption, scandal, money.
it's coming up with the proof of that really hard.
Yeah.
If you've got that, then you're onto something.
Well, that's right, because we've got certain things already where we can go, this and this proves that you were lying.
Yeah.
But we've got to stay underground with it, because until, because that's why Graham's strategy is why I'm working with him, because he realises that you do have to be patient. You can't go and exaggerate. A news story is not going to do anything for you necessarily.
Yeah.
But
that's good. That's the right way to go about it.
But you know, We are serious, and you know, I was trained by Greenpeace.
Oh, right.
Right.
Yeah. Are they involved here at all?
They sold out a long time ago.
Which cuts to the heart of the story.
I was their office troubleshooter. I was also trained by International and Direct Actions.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot to fool me in this world, because I've seen the dirty side of the environmental movement in this country. And when people say to me, why are we in this situation, the underlying reason is the environment movement's sold out. Right? So you don't have any good guys. You know, I'll never forget the day I resigned when I realised, man, that it's, you know, if you look between, I was there for 2 years, and that time I doubled the size of Greenpeace Australia. Right? Well, just under doubled it. The amount of money I brought in for them was incredible. The Perth fundraising office, best month before I got there was $200 profit for the month. Right? It was in trouble when they sent me. Now, I halved the income the first week, halved it the second week, so I can't remember, but it was probably like $2.50 we made the second week. The third week was $2,000. The fourth week was $8,000. And the next week was $10,000.
What were you doing, man? How were you sort of raking in money so fast?
My nickname in the end was the Terminator.
The Terminator.
You get rid of the ratbags that are ripping it off.
Yeah.
Right, and then you bring in people that are prepared to work, and you just do the job honestly.
Yeah.
You know, Melbourne was losing $9,500 a month when I got sent there. When I left there 3 months later, $86,000 profit clear for the month. Right. So I was travelling around. I was International's blue-eyed boy. I had a licence to do whatever I wanted to do. But I got back down, and Paul Gilding had sold us out.
What did Paul do? He went and set up some
EcoCorp. Yeah. Advising business on environmentalism, how to deal with environmentalists.
What's his biggest achievement since he's been doing that?
No idea. Probably helping a lot of mining companies avoid problems with environmentalists.
Really?
I looked at, when I left there, because I'm disabled, I've got no qualifications. You know, I was a sheep farmer in New Zealand and a hang gliding instructor. I left that, and I thought, well, I could wander down to BHP or someone like that and get myself a really good job, because I know how to screw over the environmental movement. If you know one secret, you know the other side, if you know the thing. And you go, I think I'd sooner be poor. Right? That's like, I'd sooner sleep well. But I watched as all that happened. Now, the thing that really annoyed me is when you look at what happened with the Olympic Games. And Greenpeace got involved in that. Now, Homebush Bay.
I remember that. Yeah.
Well, in '89 we were canvassing door to door in Abbotsford Concord 5 Dock, telling people about what that was, about, you know, you can't fish in there to 2015 and all the chemicals and all the plants. No, that stuff. When they said they were going to put the Olympics there, bring the fittest, healthiest people in the world onto the most toxic site in Australia, I just went, I don't believe this. Then when you see Greenpeace involved, you go, oh, that's bad. Now it was a cover-up. You remember, it would be 3 or 4 years ago, probably might even be 5, they put the total fishing ban on Sydney Harbour, right? And then suddenly that got backed off, right? But the thing that, if you want to look at history that happened in that, suddenly Greenpeace closed its toxic waste campaign. Right? They just shut it down. And the reason for that was I sent them a letter saying, you guys realise when the shit hits the fan, you're going to get sued too, because you're part of the cover-up that allowed this. Right? Because you knew well beforehand what was going on there. You knew in 1989 what was going on, what was required, and then by 2000 you were happy to sign off on the Green Games, go to all the AAA list parties, do all of that, and cover up the fact that this was just a superficial clean-up of the site. And then ripping that earth out of there, you released a lot of that stuff into the harbour. And the whole thing got too hot, so they just closed down the toxic waste campaign, so you can't ring them up and ask about toxic waste. Oh, we don't do that anymore. You know, I'm on the front cover of the first Australian Greenpeace magazine, and it says, you know, the Clean Water Campaign, we're here to the end, or something like that. So it was something I was heavily involved in, and to see them just sell it out. You know, and it's like when I rang them up for when Kogan Creek was first announced, you know, you got to get up here and do something. Oh, we might turn up when it opens, you know, we'll turn up and do something.
So Graham, do you have anything like in terms of documents you collected that shows, I don't know, that in terms of the government departments, any revealing sort of documents, where they actually sort of talk about what actual chemicals are fracking or what
no.
yeah, basically anything that shows them up to be misrepresenting what's going on.
You really have to, I don't have documents, well, it's in there, but you've got to know how to read the Chinese.
Yeah.
Right? So you've got all the polythreads. Feel free to sit down.
Yeah.
We're running out of time. Or
yeah. We'll get, will you just tell us, man, you got, your wedding's not actually today, is it?
No.
You just do all the prep side.
Yeah,
Please
putting up
tell us to
some
go. Just tell us, you know, we
don't want to stay too long.
we've got to get on with these too, so.
The most damning stuff is once you interpret it, it's like the waste strategy.
Yeah.
You know, the thing that hit me is the
maybe the batteries run out, dead. Yeah.
the one thing they outlawed, the evaporation ponds.
Yeah.
So I was pleased when I heard about that. And then as you start to look at it, in the end I go, that is actually the best solution for the water from an environmental point of view.
From what's available.
You capture all the toxic waste and you capture all the salt, and at least you've got it contained. But that's been outlawed. So what are they doing now? Either re-inject it.
There's apparently treated water, aren't there?
Yeah. Now you try and re-inject it. There's for one thing, if you were going to re-inject it, if this is Queensland, if this is to the east near the dividing range, you have to do all your wells here, drain them, hold that water for 20 years till you move to your next band, and then you can re-inject here as you're taking water out here. Right? But because they're higgledy-piggledy, it's never going to work. And the other thing is, the BTEX is in the coal.
Yeah.
Right? That's so, and everything else, it's down in there. Now, if you re-inject water into the coal seam, you're going to drive the water that's migrated in there back out, and you're going to pollute the aquifers each side of it. And Andrew Bryars agreed with me on that. I've got a recording of that, but there was other people talking. You got to know what you're listening for. We're quietly talking on the side of the room.
Yeah.
And the thing is, to re-inject, you have to do it to all the layers and keep the pressures, so you're not driving water down through the coal, or up through the coal, or out of the coal. And you got to do that, and then you got to deal with the horizontal flows as well. And it's, yes, you could do it. You can certainly do it in theory, but your coal seams and your layers aren't just flat, perfect layers, right? There's bubbles and things. So if you look at re-injection, to my mind, it's the absolute worst, because you're creating a problem that's going to destroy the Great Artesian Basin for millions of years.
Yeah.
Right? This water flows. Okay, this water flows 2 meters a year. In that, and they say, oh, we're doing testing, so we're going to test from a well 5 k's away, one side where Arrow is setting up to do their re-injection. trials into the precipice, right? They go, oh yeah, there's a bore 5 kilometres away. Right, at 2 metres a year, how long is it going to take for anything to show up?
Quite a while.
Quite a while.
Well, that's the problem, isn't there? No, they won't know for
And
years.
you look at their website, the government portal, and you look at the website, and they say next year they're going to test 300 wells. And you look at all the green or blue wells, right? They're all here. There's the Great Dividing Range. You see this, and then you see all these orange dots here.
Yeah.
The water's flowing this way. There's only about 12 wells that would be relevant.
They do all the monitoring upstream.
At 2 metres a year, you know, it's 50 years to do 100 metres. So this whole thing of we're monitoring, we're going to monitor and sort this out.
Yeah, listen, just because I'm conscious of time, we should sort of, what do you recommend? Should we take some DVDs
This stuff,
of probably, of just some of the truck stuff maybe, whatever you tell us, have you got DVDs of the truck stuff?
I got, it comes down to this, the stuff I could give you to look at but you can't necessarily use. Right? If I give you the whole DVD, doesn't mean you can use the whole DVD.
No, if we use, whatever we choose,
Whatever you decide is fine.
yeah, whatever you decide to give us, if we decide to run something, we will ring you and get your permission and ask you what it is. That's what, absolutely guarantee that.
Or tell us what's off out of bounds or...
I mean, you've got cameras recording here, we guarantee you that if we use anything of yours, we will ring you and ask you for your permission.
Because
Again, so I'm happy to be recorded saying that.
Yeah, we'll give you an on-screen credit.
And look, I don't know.
Because some of this stuff, you know, we've filmed the meetings with QGC people. There's some stuff in there. It's wild.
What, individual meetings or group?
Well, the group, but it's mainly me talking with Brett Smith,
And being
the
filmed.
vice president, and we're sitting there, and you've got the
So how comes
photographer who turned out to be J.J. Cooper, the writer, ex-military interrogator that they brought along as the photographer.
Who is what?
J.J. Cooper.
The head of security at
Winterboro.
Winterboro, who they brought onto my place with this meeting, saying that he was just a health and safety guy and a photographer. He was actually served in
Iraq.
East Timor in the Middle East as an interrogator. His speciality was for the Australian Defence Force.
What's his name?
He's written-
We got told it was Wayne, but we saw an article in the paper where he's a thriller writer, J.J. Cooper.
So how do you know he was actually an interrogator then?
Because it said it in the article.
But you look it up on the web, just
Yeah.
type in J.J. Cooper.
Yeah, you'll see.
Do you know he was was he working for the Americans at all? Do you know?
Don't know.
Another story I'm working on.
We've only seen that and gone, hey, that's Wayne.
So you saw his photo, but it was J.J. Cooper.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And who was he working for?
QGC.
As
head of
He's
security.
Head of security at Winterboro.
But he was bought, I guess, as Brett Smith's personal security guard, which is fair enough, because you don't know, you could walk into someone's place and they could bloody...
Yeah.
But he wasn't declared
He
as
wasn't
that.
disclosed yet.
No.
Yeah. Alright.
Any more of that sort of stuff happening?
There's lots of weird
The
stuff.
security side of things?
No, well, we just drew a line there when he started playing this game about, you know, and really we'd got what we wanted, which was the chance to take them out, show them what was wrong. And
So what did you showed them the destruction to
We took them
indigenous
up.
sites, as you said, and
no, we didn't show them the indigenous side. It's the site Cody 20 just across the road, about 200 yards away from that. Now that site's on one of these called Bellbird Springs with Caithney and Hutton.
and what were they saying, man? What was the point of you taking them there? What were you showing them?
We took them to Cody 20 where you've got your hectare well site, but you've got another hectare cleared as a pad, and down the back it's just been ripped. Now this is a very delicate wetland, a lot of endangered species up there. It's very unusual,
Yeah.
and they didn't know. No, because all that stuff was done without an EIS, they've
Yeah.
just been allowed to go in there and rip the hell out of this very delicate bit of environment.
And use their time machine to legalise it if they get picked up on it.
So they're now saying that the pad is for a camp, but it was never used for that. It's never been used. And the area down the back, they were looking for gravel for roads and stuff, which is stupid because this is a. There used to be a string of pools, clear water pools coming down from there, and that's all dried up since they put in the Cody 20 well. And that's why we went there. Unfortunately, the girl Kate on this, she rang me the other night to say she's pulled out. She sounded very stressed, and I had no idea what was happening. Woodhouse. So somebody's putting a lot of pressure on her.
We have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So
Well, you guys can vote if you want. and I'll
All right.
just catch up with
Okay, we've got 3 minutes left on that.
you. Yeah, that's true.
good to meet you.
See you, mate.
What was your name?
Peter Cronau, yeah.
Kelly.
Enjoy your
Kelly,
wedding,
nice to
mate.
meet you, Kelly.
See you, Kelly.
Yeah.
Enjoy
Cheers.
your wedding.
Nice to meet you,
No
mate.
worries.
Good luck for the future.
Good luck with the wedding.
Sure you realise this is a really important story.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
absolutely,
massive.
yeah.
You're cool with this?
What have you got in there?
There's all the footage that I gave to Channel 9 anyway, which is some of the early truck chasing stuff. Bellbird Springs, which will show you the environment and the tour with that. And I'll find some of the Brett Smith tours from the tour.
Look, we'll run it past you.
We'll run it past you.
We're not.
You know,
Yeah.
we've got us recording.
We've got a reputation for Four Corners of being honest and stuff. We're not going to rip people off.
We don't rip you off. We won't.
Yeah.
So-
It's just that I'm still concerned about why you want the truck footage if we've told you that there's no guarantee that anything.
Well, we'll ask the company.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and then we can say, well, if it depends if they answer or what they answer. I mean, in the end, we may not use it. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you, but
Just as long as you don't use it to, because there's certain other groups who are making claims that they have no proof of, and I would hate for some of our stuff to be used as sort of in the same breath as that.
Yeah, sure.
There's
But
the
I-
Spotty
but-
Kid photo and that they're saying.
oh, I
that's-
saw that in the paper. What do you think of that?
Oh man,
It never sounded
that's
like a bunch of
just-
sandflies to me. It looked like a
Well,
bunch of
that's
sandflies.
right, and I was around at the time, because like Graeme
That was Michael's. That was actually Michael's son, wasn't it? Brother
Yeah,
of his son.
Angus.
That was a bit silly too. And
Yeah.
then
Oh,
for him
he-
to come out,
that's
you know. Yeah.
You got bitten by sandflies one day, and
Yeah, well, I
They're
mean,
pretty-
I was around at the time when he was saying Angus has got a rash, and I thought that's terrible. But there was no dumping on his road or anywhere near
No.
him, and he'd sort of melded that with a story that Kate had from a year before, where they would apparently, and I haven't seen any evidence, but I tend to believe Kate, but still there's no proof, where they were dumping right near her, and her son
Yeah.
was getting nosebleeds and all this sort of stuff, and
Yeah.
the windows were shaking and louvers were breaking and all this sort of stuff.
that's close.
Which I believe, but still don't have any proof of. So Michael's taken that story, his son's got a
We
rash,
nailed it together.
and then 6 months after that, he's come out and
Yeah.
John McCarthy's printed it as if it's
Well,
all
John
true.
McNutt's responsible.
was-
John McCarthy
I
should
know.
have printed it.
Surprised
That's
with
right.
that.
Well, he was on the
luck,
front
Muzzy
to us
Butts.
the next day, well the day it was actually on the
Who
front
knows?
page saying, Kelly, have you ever seen any health effects? And I said, well, I can't really speak for that, but I say anything that WAAM says we'll have proof of.
Yeah,
I'm thinking it's a bit late to be asking me that
after
question.
the event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kelly, whereabouts are you? Like, I'd like to stay in touch.
Yeah, I'm up on Mary Road.
Yeah, what, you got a number or a...
Yeah, 251.
Yeah.
But as far as any WAAM stuff goes, Graham's the WAAM spokesman.
Yeah, no, that's fine. We're not going to
Yeah.
jump in there.
Well, there's a big
Just for
story.
information, like I just like talking to people on the phone just to ask what's going on, you know.
Yeah.
Have you got a number that I can ring you or an email?
Yeah. 4669
Yep.
4849.
Oh, Kelly, you take that.
And what's your last name, Kelly?
It's a hyphenated name. It's Fraser Pyle, so Fraser, F-R-A-S-E-R,
Yep.
hyphen P-A-R-L-E.
Okay.
But yeah, it's an interesting story.
Oh, look, it is. I mean, just the more and more I find out about it, the more amazed I am. And it's really hardly known in the public. I mean, it's been a bit about it lately.
Yeah.
With this Gasland film coming out, obviously that's done a lot.
What do you think? Did you say that? Have you seen that?
I did see that.
What did you think of it?
Well, given the stage I'm at with it, it was
there wasn't anything new in it for me.
Yeah,
But
it was just once over lightly in a way, wasn't it? Just
yeah,
introduced.
but it
It
has.
was good. I mean, it introduced the issues, you know, and I guess that's all it was meant to do. It was a
And
guy
as far as
going on a journey. And
the pace of it and the thing that he's done, it's good pop culture thing, but like these guys are thinking that this is going to save us, and it's like, well, the industry's already come out with their rebuttal of it, and even though, you know, I don't trust the industry at all, they tell a lot of half-truths, you know, but yeah, it's, if we ever make a documentary, we want to make it that they can't, no wiggle room for it, there's still too much wiggle room in that.
We really try to get rid of that too.
Yeah, I've seen your shows and it's good.
We did one on coal mining in the Hunter Valley earlier this year. That
Who
was
did that one? Who did that one?
stunning.
Yeah.
What's going on there?
And I like the balance of his show. But yeah, it's important for us.
But yeah, no, we'll, like I say, we'll check with you, we'll let you know
So
what
if
we're
we run
interested in
anything, and we
running.
don't do it, we check with everything, and we
And
check what we're saying, we'll check for permissions.
If we put a credit on the end, who do we put?
andymining.com or
Yeah.
or
Because like Graham's got the strategy, and obviously we talk about stuff, but if it wasn't for Graham, I'd still be with Western Downs and running around doing this hype, because he hypes things up and gets people in a state of stress, and he's in a state of stress himself.
Yeah.
And there's no necessarily any truth in it. Things don't have to be true.
Yeah.
And I got to say that
Yeah.